Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Product and Packaging Powerhouse. I am your show host, Megan Young Gamble, and also Chief Project Officer at GLC, your packaging and project execution team. And I am so excited to be doing a two-part series of my time in makeup in New York. And let me just say, if you've been interested to understand what is some of the beauty innovation happening behind the scenes, Amaya agrees, you hear in the background. And also what is some packaging things that we're seeing, because of course everybody's talking about sustainability. What does that mean and how does it come full circle? Well, you're in the right place at the right time, because I am going to be recapping my experience at Makeup in New York, talk about some of the innovation, but of course we have to highlight some of the packaging because that is my industry. That's what I focus on. That's what we focus on with my firm and more. So before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and share it with your network as well, because I want to share this two-part series of my time in makeup in New York to give you the tea that you need out here in the beauty streets. So let's go ahead and get into today's topic. Okay, listeners and viewers, so as I'm going to be highlighting different topics for each respective day, I want to share some insight on, in a moment of transparency on something. So if you've been rocking with me for quite a minute, you know that I actually had birthed my daughter in March of 2025, and this was my first event. You hear my baby girl in the background. She letting you know, like, yeah, she here now. But anyways, so I birthed my daughter in March 2025, and this was my first event postpartum. And let me just say, as a moment of transparency for my parents who out here, you understand how this goes with your first travel, where I almost did not attend Makeup in New York. I was 2 hours from my departure flight to cancel. Okay. I live in Atlanta. And anywhere in Atlanta, it's going to take minimum 35 to 45 minutes. And then I still have to do off-site parking, get the bag checked in. Thank goodness I'm a Delta Sky Miles member and Silver Medallion, all those things. And they held my status. Thank you, Delta. But anyways, like, I almost didn't go because mom guilt really kicked in. I was really sad that I was leaving my baby girl. She wasn't coming with me. She was 6 months at the time. You know, it was just all the things. However, I am really glad that, one, I pushed myself to go in the state of postpartum. And also, two, it's representing for her as she gets older and be able to see these recaps and see the journals that I write for her and everything, to understand, like, I do this for her. You know, and it's not only for just me and my husband, like, of course, it's for our livelihood, right? Just like any of us that work. However, it's really for her and the future that we're really building out for her. So I had to say I was quite proud of myself, you know, pushing beyond that mom guilt mode. But I'm so glad I was able to go. And so, as a moment of transparency, when I finally hit the ground, I realized that, you know, I had to divide and conquer, you know, going through the show and also the topics that I want to focus on. So for day one, which is this respective segment, we're going to be highlighting in reference of technology around AI and AR, Korean skincare, and then also highlighting around some of the beauty innovation awards that was hosted at Makeup in New York with some of the key categories, and also why some of the winners received, you know, the actual status as well. So let's go ahead and get into this. So as I came into day one attending Makeup in New York, of course, we have to get some footage to show that Makeup in New York, that we actually were here, you know, showcasing our style and also gracing our presence as well. And so as you see, I am walking through the floor. I'm actually about to enter into the actual convention center, and upon hitting the floor, the first thing that I see is seeing some of the actual submissions as part of the Makeup in New York IT Awards. Okay, so this is where it's highlighting innovation from packaging category, formulation, ocean beauty, and more. And so you can see some of the recaps and also see some of the things that I captured as well, but we'll get more into some of the actual innovation awards and why they were selected as finalists and winners as well. So as we're thinking about innovation, everybody is always thinking about what's the new, what's the latest, right? And that is part of innovation. However, sometimes innovation can also be taking something that's already existing and revamping it. So adding in a new ingredient, adding in, you know, changing the aesthetics of something. It also could be, you know, collaborating with another partner or affiliate to combine efforts and new looks, aesthetics, impact, efficacy, increased efficacy, etc., and more. And so as part of innovation, respectfully, in the beauty industry, we see so much of this, right? And it's almost like overwhelming with the amount of innovation that is happening, respectfully, in the beauty industry. But the one thing that is currently trending here in the US that has been going on quite a while in this other respective country is Korean skincare, which is K-beauty. Now, K-beauty has been something that I have been following since my time in corporate, and I left corporate America January 2020. So there is a separate segment where I talk about my detour to destination journey. Link is down in the show notes, so check that out. However, K-beauty has been something that I've been familiar with because I remember working in corporate America. We would actually go to select Korean skincare manufacturers to source sheet mask, eye patches, certain bubble cleansers, and similar, because of the efficacy, because of the innovation that they had incorporated in their formulation. So I've been familiar with Korean skincare and beauty, from my time in corporate because of the innovation. And this was something that I really saw heavily on the Makeup in New York trade show. And so from a Korean skincare standpoint, some of the companies that I had the opportunity to stop by and speak with respectfully is Nature's Friend Skincare. So they're a Korean skincare company, and they were showcasing, all the different innovations that they have. And they actually are a turnkey OEM provider. So if you're looking for incorporating Korean skincare into your portfolio and you want something that's turnkey, so they have the packaging, they have the formulations already in place. You just go through their catalog and select what you would like. They were a really great option. So a couple things that I noticed here, looking at their respective portfolio, as you see showcased here in the respective clips, is first, they actually were talking about and having a lot of different products really focused on PDRN. So I was like, what is PDRN? What does this mean? Like, how is this, different than some of the other respective skincare that is out here? And one thing that I found fascinating is that that PDRN is actually extracted from salmon. And I'm going to link an actual news clip, respectively, from Cosmopolitan, because there's some other brands that incorporate PDRN into their formulation as well. And the header in this respective newsletter, or excuse me, this respective article from Cosmopolitan is quite catchy because it asks, is PDRN skincare? What is PDRN skincare, and does it actually have real salmon sperm in it? Nasty, right? But it's definitely something catchy. So and so with that, I didn't get into all the details from like the ingredient standpoint with the respective manufacturers because I go to my advisors that are part of the GLC team and ask them about those things, and I continuously learn about ingredients, efficacy, where it's sourced from, etc., because we have to consider that for packaging. However, a couple key things that they mention, respectively, with PDRN and also with my quick research, is that PDRN is something that is incorporated, and other brands are using this, such as Innisfree and MakeUp as well. And with PDRN, it actually is extracted from salmon sperm, but they say it's very gentle and effective on sensitive skin. So it is something that can be utilized on all skin types and stuff. So even though it says that it is extracted from salmon sperm, it is filtered accordingly to remove any type of impurities from it, and then it is properly sterilized, so it is suitable for use on your face. So that was quite interesting to see that and to learn about that, because I'm like, I had no idea. And salmon sperm, okay, you get the gist. And so anyway, so another thing that I realized and learned from Nature's Friend Skincare, the Korean skincare brand, is that they really were highlighting around spincule ampules. And so here in the clip, they're actually talking about how actual serums are incorporating this ingredient that can be microneedling in a bottle. And this can be a more effective and gentle way of having a microneedle approach without actually going through the actual trauma that you may go through actually receiving microneedling services. Okay, so I would actually be interested to speak more with an esthetician who actually practices and actually executes microneedling on their clients. And then also, how is that different, or different benefits, doing actual microneedling services versus using a serum that may contain spincule in there, that's more like the microneedling inside of a bottle. So that was quite interesting. And then you could see like the different parts per million for the respective spincules that's actually incorporated in the serum as well. And so that was very fascinating, something I did not even think about and even know about. So that was something really cool for me to experience, from an innovation standpoint. And so, of course, just like, here in America, Korean skincare is definitely growing and trending. However, here in America, in the US, we are getting more progressive, in reference of sustainability around packaging. So if you're not familiar, we do have packaging EPR, extended producer responsibility, that is current legislation in place, where at the time of this episode, we've had 7 states actually pass legislation thinking about the end of life use of the packaging and the financial responsibility being placed on the brand. And so one of the questions I asked the Nature's Friend Skincare is, okay, you are a turnkey provider. However, how are you thinking through sustainability here for these other markets that you are offering your products to be sold in? So whether it is in the EU, UK, whether it's in Canada, whether it's in USA, where I'm currently located, how do you think through sustainability? Looking at some of the bottom of the packaging, some of them did not designate the respective resin codes on there. So that's something that will be a question for me in actually receiving MSDS sheets of some of the packaging from the, this respective vendor or any vendors at that, to help validate and understand what materials are actually being utilized for the packaging, so we can consider that with our, advisory board for ingredients, our regulatory specialists as they're reviewing the ingredient and making sure it's compliant for those respective markets. So it's a lot of things that are in play, but it was very interesting to, really learn about, and actually feel and, experiment with some of the actual formulations there with this respective brand. And so there was another Korean skincare brand that I actually had the opportunity to quickly speak with, which was Bonnet. And so we're going to do a quick segment on my time speaking with them and some of the current offerings that they have. So go ahead and check out and listen to what they had to say around their Korean skincare line.
Hi, I'm Mariel from Seoul. We are from South Korea. Hi, I'm Haley from Seoul. So we are OEM supplier from Korea. So we make all the kind of cosmetic products from Korea and distribute to the brands that we produce.
Okay, nice. And so with Korean beauty, that's a big thing right now, especially here in the States. So what are some top products or trending products that you offer?
So I think formula texture is very important.
Okay.
I think jelly textures.
Okay.
So hydrogel mask
Okay.
and the keychain. So I think people focus on the packaging for their makeup. So when they bring their makeup with the bag, not in the bag. So I think that's the point.
Okay. And so which of the products, you said jelly mask. So I see a jelly serum here.
Yes.
So is this the jelly mask?
Textures.
Okay.
And the cleanser as well. This one also like a sticky jelly, like a cleanser.
Okay. And then the one with the keychain, that's the bag. So which one is that?
You see there.
So how does that work with the keychain? So you say you have the products inside.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, these are cute.
So these are all the components, not formulary inside. But imagine like putting in the formulas in it and use it while you're outside. Like just keep up your makeup and blushers.
Okay. And are you able to fill any of the products that you offer inside of the keychains? Of course. Okay. And what are your starting MOQs, depending upon if it's the jelly mask, the keychains, or the hydrogel mask?
So all the other products beside the mask is 5,000.
Okay.
And the mask, because of pouch, our MOQ is 50K.
Okay. Nice. And so how can people learn more about your company and get engaged with you if they're interested to review your portfolio?
So when you search Bond in the Google, you can find our company and feel free to reach out to us. Yeah, it's BONNE.
Okay. And all their information will be down in the show notes for you all. So thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so you just heard the recap in the quick segment that I had with Bonnet Team, and they are another OEM turnkey provider really specializing in Korean skincare. So they were another great option looking at some of their looking at their portfolio that was currently available at the show. And one thing I will say too is that, of course, when you go to these trade shows, it is not the full catalog that you're seeing. It's only a sliver of what they currently offer. And so I do like the flexibility and also the different opportunities to have a more immersive portfolio and products as well. So it's really contingent upon what type of product you're creating, what does sustainability mean to you and the brand, not only from the packaging standpoint, but also thinking through the ingredients and also the operations as well as part of your supply chain. And so now, as I mentioned about the beauty innovation, I would encourage people to really think through and do a comparison, amongst any of your contract suppliers, and really ask them, what is something innovative that you've recently launched with? What is something that has been working well, but it's been improved, or a better ingredient that may be utilized in your formulations? What is some of the consistent feedback or collective feedback that your brands and founders have been sharing with you to help you think through what does innovation look like as you're getting ready for New Year's, expansion into different markets, etc. So it's always best to have those conversations with the with your team, regardless of where they're located, whatever their specialty may be, to really think through what innovation looks like, and also thinking through strategically what innovation looks like for your brand as well, because innovation may differ just like sustainability, and you want to make sure that whatever you're innovating or thinking through innovation, it is also sustainable as well. So AI has definitely increased. And did you know that AI actually started back in the late 1960s, but it did not really become readily acceptable until it went through trialing periods in the 1980s, and then now becoming full-fledged everyday use, I feel like, for everybody nowadays here in 2020 and beyond. So AI is here to stay. If you're not progressing with the times, you are behind. So we definitely have to be leveraging AI to help us become more efficient, but also to help us with extracting data quicker too. So one of my prior conversations I had with Michael Houston as well as with Dustin Smith, we talk about extracting data to help you with making more informed decision making. And so AI can definitely help you with doing so. And so during my time at MakeUp in New York, I did have the opportunity to speak with my girl Ella Naranja. She always tell me Naranja like the orange, the color, and it's similar to in Spanish, naranja, for saying orange in Spanish too. So excuse my accent, but I just know how to say the word, okay? I speak Spanglish over here, okay? But anyways, I want you all to check out my girl Ella and the Arabelle AI platform, where it's a virtual makeup try-on and shade matching platform where you can incorporate it as part of your shopping experience. And it's also being utilized with other notorious brands as well. So we're gonna do a quick segment to highlight Ella and her team and the capabilities, and you'll see me actually trying it on behind the scenes as well with this overview of Arabelle AI. So I have Miss Ella here, who is talking about a phenomenal platform. And so Miss Ella, share who you are and the name of your platform and what you offer.
Hi everyone, so I'm Ella from Croatia and I work for this Swedish brand called Arabelle AI. We are AI beauty brand and we can make your makeup live on the screen. So we have this product which is virtual makeup try-on, and we also have a shade finder which is powered by AI, and it can in 3 seconds scan your complexion and face and give you a recommendation for the perfect foundation.
Oh, and that's something I definitely need for myself, because my skin changes based upon summertime, wintertime. So pigmentation, definitely, melanin definitely changes. And so what are some of the benefits that brand owners, startup to conglomerate brands, can actually get from using your platform?
Okay, so first, fewer returns, because if you shop online for foundation, you really need to know your shade, right? And if you get it right, you don't need to return the product. So the second one is, of course, increase of ROI. You'll have bigger sales, I guarantee, if you have virtual makeup try on for your customers. It's not about looking good only, it's also about inclusivity and about installing trust in your customers.
Oh, I love that. And right now, everybody's big about trust, especially as a
Yes,
consumer, because our dollars are not stretching as far as they used to. So I
I hear
love the
you.
trust. I love the trust that you all incorporate with the platform. And so if a brand owner wanted to learn more, try a demo with your platform, how can they get in contact with you all?
Amazing. So just visit arbel.ai/demo and try it yourself. You won't regret it. Or just follow us on LinkedIn or any other social media.
Awesome. And all their information will be down in the show notes for you all to get engaged with their company. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so as you saw with the Arable AI, very intuitive platform, and they had some really great data as well in reference of trends that is accessible on their website and things that we need to think through, from the trends aspect as well, and how inclusive and how the role of technology and personalization is enhancing inclusivity. So that was something really interesting to hear about and to see. And also with this platform, it's something that we definitely have to think through and to incorporate, because I don't like spending money if I don't know how a product is going to look on me. And so that's the power of AI and the power that they embedded within their platform as well. So it's something very intuitive. And I feel like we're seeing more companies, especially brands, incorporate this similar type of technology as well. Because I feel like Sephora's been doing it, JCPenney's been doing it for some of their beauty categories, Ulta's been doing it. Now you're starting to see it with actual startup brands and also mid-scale brands as well, to incorporate these same practices with virtual makeup capabilities. And then also, as part of AI, there is that AR experience too, because everybody wants to be immersed in the AR experience and to actually, they want to know how to incorporate technology to help with making those informed decision making, aka purchases. And so I did have an opportunity to speak with the founder, Ms. Sophie, at MakeUp Studio, to talk about the benefits of AR and how to incorporate it as well within your brand strategy and your website strategy, and how it can integrate into your web experience as well. So check out the segment with Sophie to learn more about MakeUp Studio. All right, so I have a phenomenal founder here with me today here in MakeUp in New York. And so Ms. Sophie, go ahead and share who you are and a little bit about your studio.
Hello, so I'm Sophie Chernak. I'm the founder of MakeUp Studio. I created this company about 5 years ago, and ever since we've been setting new standards for digital beauty.
Oh, I love that. And digital beauty is a big topic right now. Everybody wants to try on before they buy. Nobody wants to use testers. So share with us why you created the platform and what are some of the benefits with the studio that you have as well.
Yeah, so basically, as it comes to virtual try-on, the way it must be done is in a way that allows the users to fully trust you. If it's not really translating that sense of absolute quality in color digitalization, in the rendering of makeup, in the way it feels on brand or it doesn't feel on brand, the users will probably brush it away and not want to do it. So from my experience in working in beauty industry as a makeup artist for about 8 years before starting MakeUp Studio, I focused on designing digital beauty in the way we did editorial makeup. So it was really focused on inclusivity and telling a story in a way that is truly beautiful. It's truly conceptual. It's not just a copy-paste solution. It's something that really accounts all different eye shapes, skin tones, and just unique brand languages as an essence of what builds the product. So we are really hyper-focused on personalization in all levels, whether it comes to the way we digitalize colors or AI components of it. So that really is the mission of our brand, is to elevate how digital beauty is seen and perceived, because we've seen many companies shy away from the solutions because they haven't just found the right partner. And it's really that degree of thoughtfulness around it that I think would bring the utility of this tool really to the next level, and trust from both brands and their customers to the level that really makes it impactful.
Oh, I love that. And personalization is much needed. And so share with us how your studio offers personalization in the different categories.
Yeah, so we work with digitalization of, for example, lipstick. So what comes into that? We want to make sure we account for the way the color pays off on different skin tone, because even the really opaque red will show quite differently on light and dark skin. Also, once you try it on digitally, we want to make sure that it's authentic to the environment of the light that you're in, so it doesn't give you a misleading result. So that's one of the ways to really be thoughtful around it. For example, if you work with eyelashes, that would be a very different way to approach it. And it's, for example, in our recent project with Lashify, we built this virtual try-on that allowed you to go across lengths, across categories, across colors, and try on effortlessly hundreds of variations of lashes that were all meticulously designed by my team, kind of like in the haute couture approach. So working with across categories of beauty, it's important to know how we make sure that realism and brand language comes through.
Oh, I love that. And so, Sophie, how do we get engaged with you in your studio?
Yeah, so you can find us on LinkedIn, or you can find me on LinkedIn at Sophie Chernyak, CHERNYK, or it's Maquillage Studio. It's like maquillage, but with the end of AR in the end. MAQILLAR Studio.
Oh, I love that. And very cute way to end the segment for today. So, Sophie's information is down in the show notes for you all. See you there. And so now we're going to get into, as part of the continuation of day one, really thinking through and talking high level in reference of the MakeUp in New York Beauty Innovation Awards. So you can see that I am actually immersing myself at the awards. I did a quick overview of showcasing. As soon as you walked on the show floor, you actually will see, some of the actual categories be displayed, from formulation to packaging to accessories, ocean beauty, and more. And so a couple things I want to hit on respectfully in reference of the innovation awards that were held at MakeUp in New York for 2025. So first thing is, I actually sat in on some of the awards for certain portions of the awards to actually hear like the winners, and I actually did some research to actually see why they actually won for their respective category as well. And so it was quite interesting to see, what they were talking about, and also why they were deemed the winners for those respective categories as well. Okay, so starting in the accessories category, so there are a couple brands that definitely stood out to me, and I'm showcasing some of them displayed on the screen as well. From as soon as you walk inside of the trade show, you actually see some of the brands be featured. But the accessory winner for the IT awards was actually with Element Packaging, and this was with their collaboration with Peace Out Instant Oil Control Roller. And so the reason that they actually awarded this to Element Packaging was because of not only is they feature the Dragonite, which is a trademark clay, in a rollerball form, which is one of the purest forms that can be globally sourced. This accessory deeply cleanses pores, absorbs excess oil, and it removes impurities. It is also housed in a sleek, ergonomic, and compact post-consumer resin case, and it's refillable and designed for effortless use. So that's something very cool to see. And of course, we're seeing more packaging vendors offer refillable options. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, packaging EPR is definitely one of the key things that we here in the USA are really tracking to because of legislation, and we're becoming more progressive in the space as well. And a lot of things to consider, when you're launching a product and having to be mindful of legislation and where the consumers are located, and thinking about, recycling facilities, and is it deemed recyclable? Can it be reusable? How does that work? A lot of testing behind the scenes. So it's a lot of things to be considered, in this regard. But this was really cool to see. And it was a very sleek, compact thing. I love lip glosses and lip balms. And the fact that this was actually in a actual clay that can be used, and it's something I can quickly throw in my toiletry bag, quickly throw, after like a workout session or something. And it's very sleek, it's compact, and also I can, refill it as needed, is something beneficial. Now, from a size standpoint, I'm pretty sure Element and the respective company Peace Out had to think through recycling how to best state like recyclability, even though it comes from post-consumer resin. So, as a brand owners, especially for my startup brands, be very cautious and also cognizant of what what your local recycling guidelines are. Also think about where the geographical location is for your respective customers. What is their recycling guidelines? So there's a lot of different resources that are available. And, if you click the link down in the show notes, I do have an organization tools and systems guideline. So it does incorporate organizations that are helping to give some guidance on recycling facilities based upon geographical location and also the different materials as well. So you can definitely download that. That's down in the show notes, so you can quickly access it and review it. And it's something I use pretty much daily when I'm working with my clients on the GLC side as well. So for the accessories category, that was really interesting to hear and to see. So congratulations to Element Packaging. Now, in the formulation and ingredients category, if amongst 49 new innovations presented in this category, there were 7 finalists where the formula stood out for their high level of technical sophistication. They feature advanced technologies such as microemulsions and transformative textures, liquid, jellied, or powder, that elevate the sensorial experience of skincare and makeup. And I say this on the packaging side. We always think through that sensory experience, and that's where like the unboxing experience really came about from the influencers and more. Like, what do you see? What do you feel, with the packaging? What do you hear as you're unboxing it? The textures. You may see a lot of different social clips, especially I think like on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, but from what I see on that goes to Instagram, respectfully, is you'll have different textures and how brands or like the influencers or the users are actually scratching against certain things. And you even see this with food now, like as they're chopping up different foods and everything like that. So it's that sensory experience. And so underneath the formulation and ingredients category for the Innovation Awards at MakeUp in New York, the Ionic Femless Whipped Jelly Powder by TJ Enterprise was the winner. And the reason they were deemed the winner because it was a playful formula that replaces traditional synthetic film forming agents with ions that adhere to the skin through positive negative attraction. 96% natural with 75% water content, and is enriched with upcycled local rice actives. And the texture transforms twice, from soft jelly to light cream, then to a silky powder. That's pretty cool, huh? And so they were deemed the winner under the formulation and ingredients category. So congratulations to TJ Enterprises. And so now moving on to the full service category, where 25 innovations were presented in this category. 4 finalists for the products stood out for their high performance solids or liquid formulas, enriched with hydrating actives, visually striking effects that are delivered in sustainable or biodegradable packaging solutions. Okay, this is my jam here. And so out of the different categories and the different companies that submitted their actual products, the winner for the full service award was the Next Chrome Glaze. And this is a holographic highlighter that features a dynamic 3D effect created using innovative raw materials and patent-pending magnetic process. That was actually very cool. Solid and polished-like texture, contains chromatic magnetic beads that interact with the luminous base of pearlescent pigment, and is packaged in durable mono material container. And its lightweight texture applies easily with fingertips, leaving a multi-chrome wet-looking finish on the skin. And so I want to quickly just talk about monomaterials because this is going to roll into the next category, which is packaging. So monomaterial has definitely become bigger in conversations. And I remember going to trade shows like 3 years ago, and the conversation was, how do we move towards more monomaterials for packaging? And there was a lot of innovation around that as well. And I remember one company, respectfully, they're not part of the awards or anything, but just sharing my anecdotes and perspective. And I remember there was one company, Aptar Beauty, that actually came out with a 100% monomaterial pump. And I remember being part of their beta testing, and they filled it with like a cranberry enzyme mask with this monomaterial pump. And they were one of the companies that actually launched this monomaterial pump. And now you're starting to see this across other respective packaging companies and vendors. So it's a great, we're definitely making great traction in the packaging industry to think about monomaterials and what that looks like as well. Now, for the actual, respective container or this clamshell that the chrome glaze was actually housed inside of, it looked like possibly a 36 millimeter pan, normal pan that can be filled with the actual formula and then also the clamshell. And so this would be something where, if I was working with the brand similar, trying to execute a similar scope or have a similar type of monomaterial, clamshell as well that may contain a 36 millimeter pan, I would say, and of course, checking with regulatory and also going to those resource lists to and looking at the different organizations that help give guidance in reference of recyclability, materials, etc., and also size. This will be something where if it's less, 2 inches or less, unfortunately it may not get recycled, and that's the unfortunate aspect. But if it's greater than 2 inches, depending upon how the clamshell is made, if you went through tooling process, etc., for like your own custom clamshell case, then if it's greater than 2 inches, then that definitely could be deemed recyclable. But that's where now we're stating, please check your local recycling facilities, to deem what is appropriate for recycling and not. But the fact that they are incorporating more monomaterial in containers. We're starting to see this with more packaging vendors and manufacturers, which is a fantastic aspect. And of course, that taps into the sustainable packaging aspect as well, because we're looking at how to, lessen the amount of plastics, how to reduce, the blend of different plastics, utilizing one type of plastic, resin or plastic source as well. So it's a lot of things that we're definitely considering and definitely seeing with the uptick around in conversation around sustainability, and also thinking through regulations, guidelines, and more. So a lot of things to consider. But congratulations to Next Chrome Glaze and the respective team on this as well. So now, as we move into the packaging category, 23 innovations submitted and 5 finalists really stood out for their advancements in the airless bottle design, spray system, medical grade droppers, and PP pumps. The winner under the packaging award category was Fusion Packaging, and I love Fusion Packaging as well because I've seen their progression and definitely how they incorporate innovation with their packaging as well. So they actually won for the Verb Airless Freeform airless bottle, using their patented manufacturing technology that enables total product evacuation. And this is something really big, okay? And I'm gonna talk about this from a consumer perspective. And so it is compatible, it's PET and metal-free and fully recyclable through standard waste streams. And so this is something that I really like to see really love to see from Fusion, and to see the innovation around it as well, because it's going away from the traditional airless that we all normally think about. But from a consumer standpoint, I cannot stand when I still have 20% of my product left at the bottom because all the product does not totally evacuate out of the actual airless pump. And so for this to be almost a near total, and for me to be able to get 10% more out of my products, with this type of packaging, is golden. And I'm sure from a consumer feedback standpoint, this will be something that will be positively received as well for different brands, because if you look at reviews, you will see how countless brands will say, I still have product, I can't get the bottom of the product. So then they untwist the top off to try to turn the bottle upside down to try to get all the product out of the bottom, but then they still have product left at the bottom. So those are things that even for me as a consumer, and I work in this industry, I think about, and it's something that is a pain point. However, those are things that in the packaging world, we are seeing more innovation being incorporated to help with better evacuation and getting almost all the product out. So that was a really great job, and congratulations to the Fusion team in the packaging category. And so last but not least, we had the Ocean Beauty section. And so this is incorporating the power of science and ethics to really boost beauty innovation. So I did stop in on a quick workshop where they were talking about, the ethics and science behind Ocean Beauty and how to incorporate this from the formulation standpoint. To be honest, some of this was way over my head, but it was good to hear it and to see it, as well. But I would welcome to speak with somebody, more in depth around the actual science behind Ocean Beauty from a formulation standpoint. At the conference, at the trade show, it was a little bit too much for me to be fully immersed and to really understand. I had to really sit down and kind of be like almost one-on-one, like I'm back in school, to really talk through it. However, from an Ocean Beauty standpoint, we did see how there's different companies really incorporating ocean beauty and ocean bound plastics. And I want to talk a little bit about this and also add my own perspective on this segment too around this. So at the trade show, they did have respective companies submit some of their awards under the Ocean Beauty category. So there were 5 finalists that stood out for their eco-conscious design, sensual appeal, and technical excellence. And so out of all of the people that did submit their products and packaging for this category as well, the winner for this came Cali Ray Come High or Hell Water Mascara, and this was executed with Element Packaging. And so with Element Packaging, they actually worked with the manufacturer to have the secondary packaging be made from 100% post-consumer recycled paper, so of course FSC certified, and printed with soy-based inks. We're seeing more soy-based inks be utilized. And the mascara tube is crafted entirely from ocean plastic. So the brand's eco-design approach extends to shipping boxes printed with algae-based inks and includes a mail-back program with Pack, allowing users to return empty packaging for reuse. So this was a really beautiful job and execution to really think through sustainability holistically, from, the secondary packaging to the primary packaging to the inks that are being utilized to the shipping boxes, and also mailback programs with Pack Collective. And so Pack Collective is one of the organizations we have listed on our free organization tools and systems guide. So definitely download that in the show notes and check it out and see how to immerse your company with Pack as well, to possibly incorporate a mailback program. So this was something really cool to see and a beautiful job executed with Element Packaging as well. And so with ocean beauty and ocean bound plastics, we've been seeing more conversations come up around this, and more brands start to say, what is ocean bound? And my product is deemed ocean bound versus ocean beauty. What's the difference? And also I'm going to talk about some of the challenges I'm seeing as well. And so from a packaging standpoint, what does ocean bound mean? It is a defined plastic waste that's collected within 50 kilometers of the coastlines before it enters the ocean. And so this is used more so in the beauty packaging industry. Now, of course, there are certain certifications that you do have to go through and to obtain and to keep up as well, to be able to deem your company as ocean bound. And this is really more so from like the manufacturers as well, or a manufacturer standpoint. However, one thing that we're seeing is a lot of brands are like, I want sustainable packaging and I want to incorporate something that's good for the earth. And that's fantastic, because it's estimated that 8 million tons of plastic enter the ocean each year, and 80% of waste is originated from land. And so with ocean bound plastic, the focus is to really capture that plastic before it becomes ocean plastic. And so there is a difference of ocean plastic and ocean bound plastic. So there are two different things. So ocean bound, within 50 kilometers of the coastline before it gets to the ocean. So that's where you always want to make sure that from a marketing standpoint, and also from a, sales standpoint, or it could be from any standpoint or any business sector, being very mindful of if it's ocean plastic or ocean bound plastic. They're two different things. But at the end of the day, we all are trying to work towards, reducing plastic waste, and also protecting the ocean, as well from the waste and the plastic. So I'm going to link an actual website down below for you all, so you can actually see the process of how they actually take that ocean bound plastic and how they actually turn it from waste to be recyclable and be reused as well. So how they discard the plastic, how they clean the plastic, how they sanitize it, how they recycle the plastic, and then they have the traceability in place, because I talk about traceability and trackability with Connected Packaging segment with Mario Carano and John Dwyer. So that link is down in the show notes for y'all to check that out, check that segment out as well. So it's really thinking through the process, and you can understand what this means. And this is something that's truly deemed recyclable, truly deemed, circular impact and circular economy, in reference to packaging. Check out the segment I did with Julia Wilsey in reference of the global impact around circular economy. And so this is something that we have to really think through, and it does require a lot of hands to be part of this change that we want to see in the world, from an environmental standpoint, and more. So there's a full process. You can see what Ocean Cycle certified means when you have a company say that they're using ocean-bound plastic. What does that mean? Are they Ocean Cycle certified, and more? And so one thing I will also say is you're starting to see more brands utilizing ocean-bound plastic. And so Element Packaging, how they won for Ocean Beauty, with their respective Cali Ray mascara. We're seeing more ocean-bound plastic be utilized with Lush in the UK. We also are starting to see it be used with The Body Shop. We're also starting to see it be used with certain Aveda products as well. And so it is starting to become more readily available as well. And so a couple things that I've noticed just with my own research in reference of ocean-bound plastics and packaging is quality. Sometimes ocean plastics may degrade under sunlight or salt, making it harder to achieve that cosmetic grade clarity. Also, traceability. Certification is essential. So whether it's going through Ocean Cycle, it also can be going through Zero Plastics Ocean. You want to make sure that the traceability is in place to avoid that greenwashing and those certain things that, we can definitely see depending upon the company and also manufacturers that are using it. And that's why it's always good to ask this for certifications and proof of that as well. Carbon footprint. And so with my conversation with the roundtable discussion that I had with corrugated packaging analysts, a senior editor within plastics, and also a founder that created a platform, an AI platform to help deem if your plastic or packaging is deemed recyclable or not. The senior editor, Emily Friedman, she noted that sustainability isn't only about recycled content. If ocean-bound plastic is shipped across continents for processing, the footprint may cancel out the benefits. And so really thinking through the carbon footprint of where it's sourced, where you're actually getting the actual ocean-bound plastic and waste from, where does it have to go to be properly sanitized or properly cleansed for processing, and where is it going to be shipped back to, for it to be readily accessible for production. Something to think about. And then also upcycling locally is key. So regional processing of ocean plastics, such as sorting, shredding, washing, can significantly reduce carbon dioxide emissions compared to long distance transport. So a lot of things we have to think about, and that's where it's like checking your local facilities and understand the geographical locations of your consumers as well is really important to think through upcycling locally. These are a lot of different things that we have to be mindful of, when it comes to ocean-bound plastic. But at the end of the day, there is a balance around functionality versus sustainability in beauty. And more brands are making more compelling narratives with ocean-bound plastics. But the balance with storytelling and also with realism and to highlight sustainability goals and gains is something that is still a logistic challenge. And so I would love to hear from you all, listeners and viewers, like, what is your take around ocean-bound plastic? Do you see the increased need of utilizing ocean-bound plastic? Or do you see it's contingent upon where you're geographically located, like in Atlanta, where I'm located, in Georgia? We're not that close to the ocean. However, we are close to certain manufacturers that are located on the East Coast side. So whether it's New York or it's in Florida, but I have to think through where are my manufacturers located for the brands too. If it's going to Italy, for an Italian formulation, then of course that doesn't make sense. Or it may be more advantageous if the packaging manufacturer is in Florida and the contract manufacturer, the filler, is in Florida, then yes, that would make sense to think through reduction of the carbon footprint. So I had to think through it holistically as well. But I would love to hear you all's perspective in reference of ocean-bound plastic and what that means for you all. And are you seeing an increase in reference of utilizing ocean-bound plastic and also ocean beauty? What's your take? Okay. And so, ladies and gentlemen, viewers and listeners, you have heard an extensive recap of my time in Makeup in New York 2025, where I talk about my conversations and key things I consider with Korean skincare, which is part of the beauty innovation, some of the awards for the respective categories, accessories, full service, packaging, formulation, and ocean beauty. Also adding my own perspective that I see in reference to some of the challenges and frustrations with ocean-bound plastics within the packaging world, and then also leveraging AI and AR technology as part of the consumer experience. So this was a fantastic first day. And I'm so glad that I was able to attend, even though I almost didn't make the flight. Okay, like I said at the beginning of the video of this segment, I almost canceled 2 hours before my flight, but I'm so glad that I was able to go. And so if you plan on going and getting yourself immersed to see the beauty innovation that's happening out here, MakeUp In definitely has a lot of different events that are going on. So the 2026 schedule has already been published. The next event is actually going to be March 4th through the 5th in LA. And then they also have Paris in New York. So you can click the link that's down in the show notes to see the 2026 schedule and get yourself registered. So thank y'all so much for tuning in to today's segment on day 1 of MakeUp in New York 2025. Make sure you do follow, like, and subscribe, and let us know your feedback and takeaways from today's day 1 conversation. So thank y'all so much, and thanks for joining us in the house.